A lot of persons ask me if prior to me moving to the United Kingdom, if I had a job, if I had everything set up for me. I did not have any job set up for me. I did not have any housing. Why would you leave a secure job to move to another country where there's uncertainty? When you are hungry for success, for me, I was willing to take that risk.
She tired of the wasting. She just want my love. Say she tired of the waiting. Over and out. Girl, you need a soldier to show you the route. Pull you in close, areola to mount. My love, no corona, Ebola could out. Whenever you're alone and you're unoccupied and you're feeling hot inside, hit me up on my line. One time.
Hey guys, welcome to Life with SK. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. I do hope that you find this video helpful if you intend to move to the United Kingdom, or if you intend to move to anywhere in general. Even though certain things might be different, the same rule applies. Starting over is never easy. So if you intend to relocate, then you can also watch this video as I explain the entire process of moving from the Caribbean to the United Kingdom. Before we go any further in the video, I'd love for you to give the video a thumbs up. So turn that button blue right now, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, and please be sure to leave your comment down below and follow me on Instagram. So let's get into the video. So I've been living in the United Kingdom for about 7 years. Prior to moving to the United Kingdom, I lived in the small British island in the Caribbean called Anguilla. So before I moved to the United Kingdom, I was already a British citizen. I was naturalized. I was not a born Anguillan. I was actually born in Jamaica and relocated to Anguilla as a child, and I was then naturalized as a British citizen, which made the process a bit easier for me. So I want to start off by saying, the moment that you decide you would love to relocate to another country, your goal at that moment in time should be to save as much money as you possibly can. That was my goal, and that's exactly what I did. I started to save. My reason for moving to the United Kingdom, of course, was for greater opportunities, and the fact that I've always had this fascination about living in the United Kingdom, and I love it, by the way. Don't regret my decision one bit. For me, my goal was to save enough to last me for at least 6 months. When I moved to the United Kingdom, I had over $15,000 to my name, so that was more than enough. That was enough to last me. So when I moved here, I was staying with a family member, and I'm going to say, if that's the route that you're going to take, prepare to stand alone. When I tell you prepare to stand alone, my journey was very smooth, but I've come across people over the years who have told me about their experiences of going to live with a family member or a friend who encouraged them to to make that move, and it didn't work out. They ended up homeless, no money. So that's why I keep stressing to you, save as much as you can, save enough money, prepare to stand alone just in case things go south, okay? Now, it was extremely helpful for me that I had that foundation to come to the United Kingdom and have a home, have a roof over my head, and I'm so grateful for that person for even taking me in at the time. Now, as soon as I arrived to the United Kingdom, the first thing I did was open a bank account, okay? I opened a bank account. All I needed to open that bank account was my British passport. That's all I needed. Some banks would ask for proof of address. Obviously, I wouldn't have proof of address because I don't own anything in the United Kingdom. Just got here yesterday. Okay, so I walked into that bank the very next day and I opened a bank account. Opening that bank account as soon as you arrive is extremely important, because no matter what you do, whatever job you apply for, anything you apply for, that letter is the only letter is the only document that you will have to your name that can prove that you live where you say you live. So that's your proof of address. Okay, so you're gonna need that letter. The second thing that I did was apply for a national insurance number, which I think is equal to having a social security number. Without this number, you cannot take up any form of employment in the United Kingdom. It's all linked to, the taxes and everything. I'm not going to go into full detail, but write that down. National insurance number. Just type that in Google, apply for national insurance number, and all the steps are there. That's what I did. Applied for it online. They send you the documents by post and you fill that out. You get an appointment by the job center, and that's it, guys. And this can take a few weeks for them to process. They're going to call you in for an appointment, so you have to do it face to face. What are you going to need to prove that you live in the United Kingdom? That bank letter. Remember I said open a bank account. That's the letter that I use to prove that I live in the United Kingdom. Once I applied for that national insurance number, because obviously that's going to take a few weeks to come through, I immediately started looking for jobs. Okay, but I started looking for jobs before I moved to the United Kingdom. And when I got here, my drive, oh my goodness, I am telling you, I was so determined. When you are hungry for success, you have to apply for even 100 jobs a day. Okay, what I also did was signed up with a general practitioner. So I signed up with a GP surgery, clinic. Healthcare in England is free. So when you start working, you're gonna pay your national insurance, taxes, the whole 9 yards. Some of that goes into the National Health Service. So to sign up to that GP surgery, you have to have your proof of address again. And what do you show? The bank letter. This is where I live. About the national insurance number, it's extremely important that you apply for one because you cannot work without it. If you do get a job before that comes through to you, I think it allows you to work for up to a period of time. I don't know if it's like a couple of months or but it shouldn't take that long to obtain that number. But don't let it stop you from looking for a job, because as I said, it can take a few weeks to get that national insurance number, but you can still just keep applying for jobs. Going back to the national insurance number as well, in order to get that number, you have to prove that you are legal in the United Kingdom. You have to prove that you're eligible to work in the United Kingdom, your legal status. My legal status, I was a British citizen, so all I had to provide was my British passport. You also have to be in the United Kingdom, so this is not something that you can go ahead and apply for while you're away because you're planning to come to England. It doesn't work that way. You have to be here. I mean, you feel free to apply for it online, but that face-to-face interview, I mean, it can't be done over the phone. You have to be in the United Kingdom. I would say to wait until you get here, because they're going to ask you how long you've been in the United Kingdom, and you don't want to lie. Regarding obtaining a job, guys, I'm going to say that I started to apply for jobs the moment before I got here, as I said before, and on a daily basis I would apply for at least 20 jobs a day. I kid you not, 20 jobs a day was the minimum jobs that I would apply for. I signed up to various different job sites, signed up with agencies, and I just kept applying. I kept pushing. You're gonna have to prepare for disappointment as well, because I can't tell you how many jobs. I'm sure I applied for over 500 jobs since living in the United Kingdom. I've been on several job interviews. I mean, it worked out for me where I actually got my first interview within a few weeks of moving to the United Kingdom. I started to work a few months later. I explained that in a previous video as well, so feel free to check that out in my previous moving to the UK video. And there are endless opportunities when it comes to obtaining employment. That's not the problem, but you have to prepare for disappointment as well, because not because you applied for a job guarantee that they're going to call you for an interview, or when you get to the interview, it does not guarantee that you're going to get that job. But don't let that stop you. You have to keep pushing. A lot of persons ask me if prior to me moving to the United Kingdom, if I had a job, if I had everything set up for me. And as you see by now, if you're still watching this video, I did not. I came to the United Kingdom with the savings that I had and a roof over my head. Thank the Lord for that. And that's all I had. I did not have any job set up for me. I did not have any housing apart from the family member that agreed to take me in at the time. I'm a go-getter, y'all. I did not let any of that discourage me. There were persons who tried to discourage me. They're saying, why would you leave a secure job to move to another country where there's uncertainty? There's always going to be an uncertainty, but it's up to you you have to be willing to take that risk And for me, I was willing to take that risk, okay? And it's worth it. As most of you may know who are watching, if you're my subscribers, I do have a daughter. So I did move to the United Kingdom with my daughter. She was 3 years old at the time. The moment I got here, I applied for her to get into a school that came through really quickly. Now, in order for her to get into that school, what documents did I need? I needed a proof of address. Again, that bank letter. That one bank letter that I got proving that I live where I live saved me on so many occasions, y'all. So I needed it to sign up for the GP. I needed it to enroll Shakayla in school. I needed it when I got to the job center for the national insurance, the NI interview. So I can't stress enough. You see, I keep referring back to that bank letter. Go and open a bank account the moment you get here, okay? She got into school within 2 weeks of us moving to England. Here, the process is a lot different. Sometimes that process can take over a month or two, and you have to apply through the council, and they would place your child in a school that has that space. So you put three schools that's nearest to where you live, and you send that in whatever school. You put your top choice. Shakayla got into the first school that I wanted her to go to, which I was so grateful, okay? There's this thing in England where the government can also assist you. I am not sure where you stand if you're not a British citizen. I applied for job seekers allowance. The government helps you to find employment. You have to go to the job center and meet with an advisor. I believe it was once a week. So they help you in your search for employment. They refer you to agencies. They can even put you on certain training courses, and that's exactly what I did. They can help you write your resume or your CV, your curriculum vitae. They can help you with all that stuff, and you get paid. So I was getting paid while I was looking for a job. I also applied for something you called child benefits and child tax credits because I had a child with me. And on a monthly basis, I was receiving about maybe £800. I did mention that in the previous video as well. So before I started to work, I was obtaining that money from the government. But the moment that you do get a job, this is something you have to disclose to them and update your change of circumstances, because then you'll be committing fraud and you can go to prison for that, okay? Just putting that out there. If you'd like to know more about that, you can also look that up online, how to obtain child benefits, child tax credits, and how to get enrolled in job seekers allowance and all that stuff. But that's just some of the benefits that they offer here in the United Kingdom. I was so grateful for that. I mean, back home we did not have anything like that, any sort of government support, any kind of government aid for that matter, to even help you if you didn't have a job. So the fact that I was able to earn at least £800 a month while I was actively seeking employment. You have to be actively seeking employment, okay? You can't sit at home and collect that money and just think like, okay, yeah, that's cool. When it comes to public transport, that's one thing that it was very depressing for me when I moved here. Why I say it was very depressing when I moved here, it was depressing because in England it rains a lot, and I could remember walking my daughter to school. The school was only a mile away, so it took us 10 to 12 minutes to walk to the school. I remember walking in the rain, guys. It's and waiting for buses to come, and it's freezing cold. That was very hard, and you have to prepare for that as well. I left Anguilla and I was driving a car, to leave that to move to a country where I had no car and I had to walk because my license could not be transferred, okay? I had to do the whole thing all over again. So I think I walked for about a couple of months, and then I bought a car for £1,000, and I took a few driving lessons. I think I took about 3 lessons to familiarize myself with the road. And then I started to drive everywhere. I had my little sat-nav device. I only knew how to get to work and to the supermarket and back home. And that's all I needed to know, guys. Moving to England from Anguilla, my license could not be transferred. Now, I don't know where you intend to move from, but you have to go online and you can go through the DVLA website and you can look up the list of countries where you can transfer your driver's license to have a UK driver's license. Anguilla was not on that list of countries, so I would have to do the whole thing all over again. However, it did permit me to drive in the United Kingdom for a period of 1 year. So that's exactly what I did. I got a car and I started to drive. The insurance, however, was very, very high. Once you have a foreign license, or even if you're a brand new driver, the insurance policies that they have here in this country, it's such a killer. So one thing I'm going to advise you on coming here and you intend to buy a car, start off by buying a small car. The bigger your engine, the bigger the car, the more money that's going to cost you for insurance. Right now I do have my UK driver's license, but I only have it for a few years now. Prior to that, I was getting the buses, so I walked for a couple of months. When I first moved here, got a car, drove that for a year. That year ran out. I never did get my UK license, so I was catching the bus and I was getting taxis to work, and I paid about £55 a month on public transport to get to work. So I used to pay £55 a month for a bus pass for the month. Yeah, so £55, that was really cheap. That was reasonable. So that's all I spent on public transport for the month. Taxis, for me to get to work by taxi, it was £10. £10 there, £10 back. So getting taxis to work was a big no. So that £55 a month, you know, for that bus pass it was awesome, yeah. What I did as well when I was applying for jobs, I was prepared to travel 10 miles. You don't want to go too far out, especially if you're getting public transportation. It's not ideal for your journey to be 2-3 hours. My journey, I worked 10 minutes from home, and the journey on the bus alone took me an hour to get to work. It's only a few miles, but you know, when you're taking buses and those things, it takes forever. So be careful where you apply for jobs. Be careful where you're applying for these jobs, because it's not going to be easy to get to them by public transport. Okay, so when I moved to England, I realized that everyone was using iPhones. Okay, and I moved to England, I had a BlackBerry still, y'all. Okay, so everyone was saying, yeah, you could get a contract, you know, you just walk into the phone store and you could just get a phone, walk out with the phone, and you pay monthly or whatever. So I was like, whoa, okay, cool. Walked into Vodafone phone store, yeah, and they're like, if you don't have any credit history, obviously you can't get a phone. So what I did, I took out a SIM card and I did I can't remember what contract it was. I think it was for 6 months. So they look at if you were able to afford that phone bill for 6 months, you know, without going into arrears or, you know, missing any payments. And after 6 months, I was able to get an iPhone on contract with them. So yeah, I paid a phone bill for 6 months. They monitored that, went back after 6 months, and I go, hey, how did I do? Can I get that iPhone now? And they're like, yep, and I got it. Just wanted to put that in there. But obviously, if you don't want to go that route, prepaid is easy. You can pay anything from like £10 to £20 a month on a prepaid plan, so you can also do that. I just want to touch base on your living situation. Not everyone is fortunate enough to have that foundation. Now, what I'm going to tell you, to obtain a flat a flat is an apartment, but they call it a flat here in England. To obtain an apartment in England with no job history, with no credit history, is going to be extremely hard. Remember, I talked about saving enough money for at least 6 months. Now, I'm going to give you an example. I live just outside London, and the cost of living in London is quite high. You know, when you go more further up north, rent is cheaper. So let's say, for instance, up north you might get a 3-bedroom house and pay like £500 or £600. To get a 3-bedroom house in London, you might end up paying £1,500. So that's the difference. So I know everyone would love to move to London, but living in London, it's extremely expensive. I'm gonna do a cost of living breakdown for you guys, which will in turn help you with your move to the United Kingdom. It would give you an idea of just how much money is enough money for you to save, last you, you know, for a 6-month period. I won't do that in this video, so make sure that you tune in for the next video, which will follow up directly after this. Okay, let me just say as well that whoever decides to invite you into their home, never you get too comfortable, and make sure that you are contributing. Even if that person told you like, okay, you don't have to pay rent or whatever, you ensure that you contribute, whether it's buying groceries or, you know, all of that stuff. So when I moved here, the person that I stayed with, I did not want to be a burden to them at all. Okay, so they weren't charging me rent because I was not working yet, but after I started working, I did start to contribute to the household. Don't ever be a burden to other people. So even if that person invites you into their home and you see they have a car as well, don't be a burden to them. Don't say, drop me here, I want to go there, I want to go there, I want to go there. And people might not like the idea of you doing certain things in your home. So that's why I'm telling you, don't get too comfortable. And if things go south, at least you're going to have that money that I told you to save, right, for 6 months. Okay, so I'm going to do the cost of living breakdown for you. My cost of living, I'm going to say, just so you have an idea. So how much I spend monthly on rent, on utilities, on food, you know, the whole 9 yards. So that's what I'm going to do for you. That can help you in your journey to the United Kingdom. I hope that this video answered some of the questions that you might have had. But if it didn't, please drop a comment down below. I'm going to end this video here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please make sure that you hit that subscribe button if you're new here, and give this video thumbs up and leave your comment down below. Thank you for watching.